श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय. Worship of Goddess Kali in Bajitpur. An employee named Gyan Chakravarti and his wife Amia used to live with us. Amia was quite young and the two of us became very close, like sisters. After some time, Amia moved to another house. One night, I was sitting and reciting Nam when I found my body assuming Padmasana on its own. The bhavs, similar to those experienced in Ashtagram, began to occur again within this body, but they soon stopped. In the meantime, Bholanath had resolved to perform the annual worship of Goddess Kali himself in Bajitpur. The purchase of the necessary articles began. When the rice arrived, I cleaned it and put it into a new container. When suddenly a crow flew in from somewhere and pecked at it. That rice was put away and a fresh consignment was bought and cleaned. This incident was considered a bad omen and an obstacle in the performance of the puja. Due to this, I was now unable to cook the food offerings to the deity. It was decided that Amia would do the cooking. The puja was to be held in an open space next to the two houses adjacent to ours. Due to the unavailability of a suitable priest, a Brahmin lawyer was asked to perform the puja. This individual was an advanced tantric who performed pujas that included animal sacrifice and the offering of alcohol. However, in Bholanath's family, the worship of Goddess Kali had always been conducted in a purely sattvic tradition. So at his earnest request, the priest finally agreed to follow the sattvic tradition. In the evening, father accompanied by Makhan, Ma's younger brother, arrived and the puja took place later on that night. Amia was preparing the bhog and everything except the rice was done. The puja was nearing completion and the priest said, "Bring the bhog quickly, it will be needed for the yajna as well." On being told that the rice was still to be prepared, he said, "In that case, I shall begin the yajna." After cooking the rice, Amia arranged it on two stone platters along with small portions of the other dishes that had been prepared. Standing near one of the doors of the room where the bhog had been prepared, I saw young Amia, who had been fasting all day, leaning against a pile of firewood, fast asleep. It was past midnight. This body sat down on the threshold in such a manner that no one could enter the room without stepping across her knee. The place where the puja was being held was a short distance from where I was sitting, and in between there were two cottages, one next to the other, with fences for maintaining privacy. In spite of the intervening space, I could hear the chanting of the mantras clearly and also see the flames of the yajna. I saw a bright glow like the luster of the full moon in the midnight sky, lighting up the entire house, its light falling upon this body as well. The lamp in the kitchen appeared dim in the bright moonlight. Suddenly, there appeared from the right side of this body a shadowy form of a tall, fair figure with a sacred thread across his shoulder, glowing and radiant in a red hue. The figure sat down before the two platters of food that were kept there to be offered to the goddess. He touched each item 3 times with his fingers formed in a particular mudra and tasted them. I looked on, but soon he merged back into this body from where he had appeared. After this, Bholanath hurried in and carrying the 2 platters in his 2 hands proceeded to where the worship was being performed. As he walked with the offerings, one individual walked ahead, sprinkling water mixed with cow dung, and on the other side followed holding a lantern. A third person also accompanied them holding a stick. In spite of all these precautions, a black dog suddenly appeared from nowhere and, despite all efforts to prevent him from getting close, came and brushed against Bholanath. Extremely disturbed by this ritual defilement, Bholanath put the two plates down at the base of the mango tree nearby and went and bathed in the pond. Then, on returning home, he told this body to prepare fresh food since the dog has desecrated the bhog. I told him that sun-dried rice had to be bought from the market because there was none at home apart from the rice that had been packed by the crow. Of course, at that hour, it would take too long to go to the market to buy the rice and then cook it for the puja. So, with no alternative left, Bholanath agreed to have the stored rice cooked for the bhog. He exclaimed, "This must be Mother Goddess Kali's wish, or why should such a thing happen? Where is that rice? Hurry and arrange for it to be cooked. There is very little time." The rice was prepared and then a search began for plates. Bholanath ran to the base of the mango tree and found that the food had not been touched by anything and the two plates lay where he had put them. Not knowing what to do, he picked up the plates, threw their contents into the pond, washed them, bathed once again, and then, with the freshly cooked food arranged on them, carried the plates with great care and offered them before Goddess Kali. Later, when taking Prasad, I related to him what had taken place earlier, asking him to inform the priest of the incident as well. The moment the priest heard about it, he eagerly asked, "Where is that bhog? I want to have it, because that is the real bhog, no matter if it was touched by a dog." The other bhog that was finally offered was merely a token one. When he heard that the original bhog had been thrown into the pond, he was deeply aggrieved, but said, there needed to be someone deserving enough to have that Mahaprasad. But as this was not the case, things had to come to pass as they did. When people heard about this incident, many laughed it away. Earlier too, there had been gossip about this body's strange behavior during Kirtan. श्री श्री आनंदमयी मात की जय।